In the other, Peter Parker returned from the dead and made peace with his inner spider. But what if that truce hadn't lasted? What if the spider didn't stop pushing until it swallowed Peter whole? In this world, the man called Peter Parker is gone, his conscience buried beneath pure instinct. The hero is dead, and in his place stalks something new, no longer a man in a spider's mask, but a creature that is truly, terrifyingly, more spider than man. In Marvel's What If Spider-Man the Other, set on Earth-70134, shows us a dark look into a world where Peter Parker had rejected his spider totem. The story opens on a single black spider, hanging motionless from a thin strand of web against a flat field of blue. As it dangles there, the watcher muses about the idea of the other, everything that exists outside the self, every path a person didn't take, every version of a life that never happened. A blue-gloved hand slips into view, gently holding the web. The watcher invites us to imagine Peter Parker's entire life laid out in front of us, and then to picture all the things he never became, all the choices he never made, as if they were roads branching off into the dark. The watcher's hand opens, his fingers spreading, the thread slipping freely between them. His voice frames this as a game of what if, a thought experiment given form, something that could walk on 2 legs, or 8, like the spider hanging from its thread. From there, the scene shifts. A towering figure of the Watcher steps forward. He addresses us directly, explaining that these alternate histories of humankind, every diverted path, every twisted fate, are his constant study. He tells of one such world where Peter Parker's body began to fail him, his cells breaking down, even as he still lived his life as Spider-Man. The Watcher moves through a shadowy cavern strewn with webs, spiders scurrying along the rocks around his feet. His voice remains steady as he describes how Peter, weakened and dying, faced his old enemy Morlun once more. Morlun nearly beat him to death, but in their final brutal clash, Peter managed to kill him. The victory came at a terrible cost. Shortly afterward, Peter Parker himself seemed to die, leaving that world without its Spider-Man. The Watcher stands in profile against a vast wall of webbing stretched overhead and behind him. His head is turned slightly upward, studying the glistening strands with calm, analytical interest. One hand is raised near his face, fingers loosely together, as if he's making a precise point in a lecture or gently emphasizing a subtle truth. His posture is composed and still, like someone who has seen this countless times yet still finds meaning in it. Seemingly, however, is the key word, you see. In the reality that some have dubbed 616, much is not what it seems, and death more so than most. His gaze shifts toward a small spider resting at the center of the web. With quiet precision, he explains that spiders are not like butterflies, not creatures that transform through some elegant metamorphosis. There is no rebirth from a cocoon for them, no natural evolution into something new. The spider grows larger in view, its presence suddenly more threatening as it advances across the web. Nearby, a small fly struggles helplessly, caught in the strands. The Watcher continues, almost clinically, noting that while spiders do not transform themselves, they do create cocoons, just not for their own change, but for their victims, trapping them and prolonging their suffering. The Watcher mentions that Peter Parker was more of a victim of Spider-Man than anyone. The spider closes in, its legs spreading wide as it begins to wrap the trapped insect in silk. Layer by layer, the prey is bound, its fate sealed. The scene moves to a massive cocoon of webbing hanging in a dark, under a steel bridge, stretched between metal structures like something unnatural and suffocating. The man's voice deepens with meaning as he describes how Peter Parker became a literal prisoner of his alter ego, his former body reduced to an empty shell while something within him regenerated inside that cocoon-like prison, forcing him into a strange and intimate confrontation with the very essence of what he had become, his spider essence. A lone figure, Peter Parker stands in the center of a dim, cavernous space, his fists clenched at his sides as he faces something immense. Towering in front of him, a monstrous spider looms, its many legs spread wide, its glowing red eyes locked onto him with an almost knowing intensity. The air feels heavy, as if this is not just a physical encounter, but something deeper, something internal. The voice that has guided this moment frames it as an offer, simple, yet absolute. Until now, Peter had resisted this part of himself, clinging to the comfort of being only a man, refusing to drift too far into what the spider represented. But here, in this confrontation, that resistance is no longer enough. This could be his rebirth, but not without cost. To accept it, he would have to stop denying what he is. Not just a man, but a spider as well. The question hangs in the space between them, almost alive in its weight, whether he is the man who dreams of being a spider or the spider dreaming of being a man. And in this reality, the answer becomes clear. Peter Parker doesn't turn away. He chooses. He trusts his instincts and embraces the spider. Peter steps towards the giant monster. He extends his arms, holding on to the spider's fangs. The creature looms over him, its red eyes burning down at him. But instead of hesitation, there's resistance. This is not acceptance. In this version, something in Peter pushes back, his instincts pulling him in a completely different direction. With a surge of force, Peter twists his body as he rips the spider's head clean off. His face is set with anger and clarity, no trace of surrender. The moment explodes with violence as he strikes, the impact brutal and decisive. Peter shouts at the spider, telling it that, "You think you can fool me? Pull the wool over my eyes? Think again." The spider's head struggles to speak as it calls Peter an unbelievable idiot. Close to the spider's face, Peter moves again, his voice sharp and defiant as he calls out the creature's attempt to deceive him. He refuses the illusion, refuses whatever influence it's trying to impose, dismissing it with outright contempt. Peter grips tightly, his expression intense, almost furious as he pushes forward with his words. He questions everything this transformation would mean, rejecting the idea of becoming something more like the creature in front of him. To him, that path isn't evolution, it's a loss. Now face to face with the creature, Peter's stance is firm, unyielding. He makes his choice clear. He will not be controlled, not be turned into something else's puppet. Even if the cost is losing whatever advantage this rebirth might offer, even if it means facing death again and again, he accepts that. He chooses to remain himself. Peter stood besides by the lifeless remains of the massive spider. Its body lies torn apart, its blood pooling beneath it, its head separated and still. He looks down at what's left, unmoving, as the silence settles in. Time feels uncertain here, stretched, undefined, as if he's been standing in this moment far longer than he realizes. He finally turns and begins to walk away, leaving the creature behind. In the quiet of the scene, the spider's body no longer moves, no longer twitches. It's simply dead. Whatever it once represented, whatever power it held, is gone. But as Peter walks away, there's no sense of release, no transformation. Nothing about him has changed. The scene shifts beneath a large bridge, where a thick cocoon of webbing hangs suspended in the shadows. It clings to the structure like something forgotten, its surface dense and layered. Inside, something remains trapped, held in place as if time has stopped for it. The cocoon fills the frame, its webbing intricate and suffocating, sealing whatever is inside from the outside world. The narration draws the comparison clearly, like a fly caught and wrapped, left to wait endlessly. This prison was never broken, it was never escaped. Within the webbing, a faint shape can be seen, still and unmoving. The implication lingers heavily, the one who might have emerged never did. The spider is already gone, crushed elsewhere, leaving this cocoon abandoned, its prisoner left to remain exactly where it is, indefinitely. Unless perhaps something else comes along to claim what's been left behind. The webbed cocoon hangs thick and unmoving in the shadows, its layered strands sealing whatever is inside from the outside world. The voice from before lingers with quiet certainty. No one is coming to free what's trapped here. Not now, not ever. At best, maybe someone like Mac Gargan could have escaped something like this. But not this. High above, the night sky stretches over a rooftop where a figure stands near a mounted light, looking out across the city. His voice carries with a sharp edge, mentioning the man who once called himself the Scorpion, but making it clear that identity doesn't quite apply anymore. Venom comes into view, crouched low, his massive frame tense and predatory. His jagged teeth curl into a grin as his long tongue slips past them. There's something feral in his expression as he explains, almost proudly, that he's no longer the same, no longer just a man in a suit. He's something else entirely now. Something more animal. Inside a surveillance room, two men sit surrounded by glowing monitors, watching multiple feeds. One of them casually remarks that Venom is ranting again, while the other barely reacts, brushing it off with indifference. To them, it's just noise, just another unstable threat talking big. Back in the shadows, Venom moves along the wall, his body twisted and agile as he crawls with unnatural ease. His voice continues, reflecting on his past encounter with Spider-Man, dismissing it as luck, nothing more. He's learned since then, grown stronger, more dangerous, and next time, things will be very different. Suddenly, something shifts. Venom pauses, his head tilting slightly, his expression tightening as confusion creeps in. Mid-thought, his confidence falters. He looks around, unsettled, sensing something isn't right. The words trail off as he tries to understand it. Something is happening. Something he didn't expect. Venom's clawed hands rise into view, fingers spread as if feeling something shift beneath the surface. A cold realization settles in. The man he's bonded to, Mac Gargan, never truly understood what he was connected to, because the symbiote was never just his. Its first bond had been with Peter Parker, and that connection was never truly broken. The black, jagged claws seem to peel away, revealing human hands beneath as thin strands of the symbiote begin to loosen and retract. The transformation is unsettling, almost unwilling, as if something is pulling away rather than being cast off. The thought lingers. No one ever forgets their first true connection, and sometimes that bond still holds power. Gargan's full body comes into view as the symbiote begins to abandon him, peeling back in strips and tendrils. His muscular frame is exposed as the black mass withdraws, his face twisted in shock and panic. He can feel it slipping away, not by his choice, but by something deeper, something calling it elsewhere, beyond distance or logic. Now on the floor, Gargan reaches out desperately as the last of the symbiote pulls away from him, retreating across the room. His voice breaks with fear as he calls after it, demanding it come back, unable to accept being left behind. The separation isn't just physical, it's a loss of identity, of power, of something he had come to depend on. Left alone, stripped of the symbiote, Gargan collapses forward, his body bare and diminished. His voice softens into something almost hollow as he begs not to be reduced to nothing again. The room is quiet now, empty. Whatever left him is already gone. Inside the dim security room, the two guards stare at the glowing monitors, confusion quickly turning into alarm. One leans forward, frowning as he tries to make sense of what he's seeing, insisting the door should be sealed. The other, caught off guard, stammers in disbelief, unsure how anything could have gotten through. The tension spikes instantly. One guard grabs his weapon and moves toward the door as a loud alarm blares through the room, the red warning echoing around them. Orders come fast. Get out there. Alert the rest of the team. Report everything. The other stays behind, hands moving quickly over the controls, telling him to switch the weapon to sonic mode. There's no time for hesitation now. The door swings open, and the guard steps out, shouting into his comms, his voice urgent and strained as he reports a full security breach. Behind him, the second guard turns sharply, his face pale, eyes wide with fear as the realization fully hits. Whatever's coming, they're not ready for it. From the darkness, Venom emerges. His massive form fills the frame, jagged teeth exposed in a predatory grin as his tongue lashes forward. The shadows cling to him like a second skin, and the threat becomes undeniable. This isn't just a breach, it's something far worse. Venom's dark, fluid form stretches unnaturally as he slips through the doorway of the control room, his body elongating like living shadow. Over the blaring alarms, a voice echoes through the facility, ordering all units to move in with caution and report immediately. The urgency fills the air, but Venom moves without hesitation. The heavy door slides shut behind him with a sharp metallic slam, cutting off the noise from the corridor. The alarm continues to echo, repeating the warning. This is no drill. Inside, the space feels sealed, contained, but whatever has entered is already beyond containment. Venom steps out of the room, his full form revealed, massive, imposing, his jagged grin wide as his tongue curls outward. He grips the doorframe as if it offers no resistance at all. To him, this place is nothing more than an obstacle. There's no attachment, no hesitation, only purpose. Through a reinforced wired window, a guard sits dead as his neck was broken. The second guard was nowhere to be seen, but it's clear that he was now the new host for the symbiote. The Watcher makes it clear. Venom's current host means nothing to the symbiote. It's only a temporary vessel. Its true goal is singular, to reach the one it still belongs to, the one it's bound to in ways no human could understand. High above the bridge, Venom swings through the night, his body arched as a web line trails behind him, cutting through the air with precision. Below, cars move along the roadway, unaware of the dark figure passing overhead. In this moment, his objective is clear. He has done what he needed to do, and now he moves on without hesitation. Back along the bridge's structure, the guard clings desperately to the cables, his body slipping as the last strands of the symbiote peel away from him mid-air. His face twists in panic as he reaches out, trying to hold on to something already gone. But the black mass has no intention of staying. It abandons him completely, discarding him without a second thought. From a distance, the man falls away from the bridge, his figure shrinking as he drops toward the dark water below. There's no rescue, no return. Just the cold inevitability of the fall as the symbiote continues on, already focused elsewhere. Close and abstract, the symbiote's form moves fluidly, almost like living shadow stretching forward. Its purpose sharpens, it senses something unfinished, something incomplete. Peter Parker did not fully become what he could have been. He stopped halfway, leaving something missing. The dark tendrils push forward, searching, driven by instinct and connection. The realization is absolute. The symbiote knows there is a gap in Peter, something unrealized, something waiting, and it moves with intent to fill that gap. A surge of energy tears across a brick wall, cracks spreading outward as something powerful pushes through from within. The narration slows the moment, emphasizing that what is happening is not sudden or simple. This is the beginning of something long, difficult, and deeply painful. Web-like cocoon bulges and strains, its surface stretching as fractures ripple across it. Small fragments break away, drifting outward as the pressure builds. The voice continues, explaining that this change does not happen overnight. It takes months of struggle, both physical and mental, for someone like Peter Parker, whose will is strong but not unbreakable. The Watcher appears again, calm and observant, framed against a vast web stretching into the darkness. His tone remains measured, almost detached, as he chooses not to show every detail of what Peter is enduring. Instead, he suggests the process is too harsh, too heartbreaking to fully witness, only that it was long and that it was a battle. The cocoon, now darker and veined with energy, clings tightly to the structure as something within continues to shift and change. The narration delivers the weight of it plainly. This was a struggle, and it was one Peter Parker ultimately lost. Rain falls steadily in the outside world, washing over the structure where the cocoon hangs. Time has passed, winter giving way to spring, a season of renewal. Yet the tone remains uncertain, as if this rebirth is not something clean or hopeful, but something far more complicated and far more dangerous. The cocoon's surface begins to split open, a dark rupture tearing through the dense webbing. The outer layer stretches and cracks, as if something inside is forcing its way out after being contained for far too long. The tear widens, the webbing peeling back in uneven strands. The interior becomes visible now, thick, layered, and pulsing with tension, as the structure can no longer hold what's inside. A shape presses outward from within, more defined now. A human form curled tightly, suspended inside the cocoon. It's no longer still, something is waking. From the opening, a black clawed hand pushes through, slick with residue as it forces its way into the open air. The fingers extend slowly, deliberately, as if testing the world beyond the cocoon. The cocoon ruptures violently as the figure bursts free, the webbing tearing apart around him. His body is partially covered in dark, fluid-like material, clinging to him as rain pours down and lightning cracks across the sky behind him. The moment feels raw and uncontrolled, less like a rebirth and more like an emergence. In Avengers Tower, Mary Jane jolts upright in bed, clutching the sheets tightly as a terrified scream escapes her. Her eyes are wide, unfocused, as if she's just been pulled out of something too real to dismiss. The bedroom door swings open, and Aunt May rushes in, alarmed by the noise. She calls out to her immediately, asking what's wrong, her voice filled with concern as she steps inside. Panel 3, Mary Jane turns toward him, still shaken, her breath uneven. He moves closer, gently reassuring her, calling her by name and telling her she's safe now, that she's awake. Panel 4, clothes on her face, the fear hasn't faded. Her voice trembles as she tries to make sense of it, questioning whether it was just another dream or something more. The uncertainty lingers in her expression, as if the nightmare hasn't fully let go. Tony Stark's butler Jarvis appears at the doorway, wearing a robe, calm but attentive. He offers help in a composed, almost practiced tone, suggesting something simple to ease her, warm milk perhaps. While observing the situation carefully, May reassures him that it's under control, insisting there's no need to worry. She tells him to return to bed, confident that things will settle. The exchange is brief, but as Jarvis turns away, there's a subtle hesitation in his expression, like he's not entirely convinced everything is truly okay. Mary Jane sits upright in bed, still clutching the sheets tightly against her chest, her body tense as she tries to steady her breathing. She looks towards Aunt May beside her, searching her face for reassurance, as if the fear hasn't fully left her yet. MJ's gaze shifts slightly, her expression uneasy, as if she's still caught between the waking world and whatever she saw moments ago. The room is quiet, but the tension lingers in her posture. May begins to step back, giving MJ space while still watching over her, still expressing concern over her emotional state. Mary Jane lowers her eyes, gripping the blanket tighter, her face softening into something more vulnerable. She seems exhausted, shaken, trying to convince herself that it was only a dream, even if part of her doesn't believe that. Suddenly, a loud crash erupts from outside, the window rattling violently as something strikes nearby. Mary Jane's eyes snap wide open in shock, her hand lifting instinctively as the moment shatters the fragile calm. Whatever was outside has just made itself known. The figure forces his way fully through the shattered window, glass bursting outward as his body pushes in with raw force. Rain pours over him, the black suit gleaming under flashes of lightning, tendrils writhing as if alive. His posture is predatory, hunched forward, as though he's not just entering the room, but claiming it. Inside the room, Aunt May threw her hands up in panic, instinctively placing himself between the intruder and Mary Jane. Her voice breaks with fear as she shouts at the dark figure to stay back and calling out loud for Jarvis, while Mary Jane recoils on the bed behind him, frozen in shock. Mary Jane stares at the creature, her eyes wide, breath caught in her throat. The realization hits her all at once. All she could do was shout, "Venom! It's Venom!" The creature that has tormented her and Peter's life for years was now standing in her bedroom. The creature spoke, telling MJ and May that he wasn't Venom, but then mentions that everything is going to be all right. May's face tightens with confusion and dread, her voice trembling as he tries to process what he's seeing. He shakes his head slightly, refusing to accept it, even as the evidence stands right in front of him. A close-up of May's face shows tears beginning to form in his eyes, the weight of the moment crashing over her. Her expression collapses into quiet devastation, as the horror of what stands before them feels almost too cruel to be real. The creature steps forward from the shattered window, fully revealed in the lightning's glare. The black suit clings to him like a living thing, its white emblem stretching across his chest as dark tendrils coil and twitch around his shoulders and arms. Rain pours over him, but he doesn't flinch, his glowing eyes locked ahead, his mouth curling into a sharp, unnatural grin as his tongue flicks outward. One arm reaches forward, fingers spread as if ready to grab, while his body leans into the room with deliberate intent. He doesn't hesitate, doesn't speak like a man. He looms there like something else entirely, something that has crossed a line it can never return from. The creature crouches low, his body twisted unnaturally as tendrils coil off his back and arms. His voice is no longer human, but layered and distorted as he leans forward with intent. He didn't come just to appear. He came with a purpose, to share what he has become. Mary Jane recoils on the bed, eyes wide with terror as she recognizes him. Her voice shakes as she tries to reach the man she loves, insisting that whatever this is, it's not him. She calls out to Peter, trying to pull him back from whatever has taken hold. Peter moves closer, looming over MJ, dismissing the name Venom entirely. He speaks of something else, of Venom, describing it as weak, incomplete, something he has already outgrown. His tone carries pride, as if what he has become is an evolution, not a loss. He tells Mary Jane that if she cannot bring herself to call him Peter instead of Venom, then she can call him Poison. He then opens his mouth wide enough for him to lick Mary Jane's face, making her feel disgusted. Now fully embracing his new name, Poison declared that with his new suit and powers, he can share it with MJ and make her like him. Mary Jane pushes back, her fear hardening into defiance as she refuses him. Even as his hand reaches toward her, she declares she would rather die than become what he is, her voice sharp despite the danger closing in. In disappointment, Poison tilts his head slightly, almost amused, his expression twisting into something darker. His response comes cold and certain: death isn't a problem. If that's what it takes, he can make it happen. The creature leans in closer, his face stretching into something more monstrous, teeth bared and tongue coiling as he speaks with disturbing calm. He explains that she won't have her own thoughts, but only as something hollow, something controlled, as if her mind would simply become another part of him. To him, it isn't cruelty, it's companionship without resistance. Before he can move any closer, a voice cuts through the tension, firm, grounded, and unafraid. A warning, a command to back off. Poison pauses slightly, his attention shifting toward the interruption. From the doorway, Logan bursts into the room, muscles tense, claws extended, his expression locked in fury. Behind him, fellow Avengers member Luke Cage stands ready as Logan charges forward without hesitation. Wolverine lunges across the room, tackling the creature with full force. His claws drive into the black suit as he slams into him, pushing him back. Mary Jane is caught in the motion, pulled along as the impact disrupts everything in an instant. Close on Logan's face, his teeth clenched, eyes burning with anger as he holds his ground. His voice is low and resolute as he makes it clear, whatever this thing is, it's not Peter Parker anymore. Without ease, Poison throws Wolverine across the room, knocking over a lamp and the nightstand. Close by, Luke Cage stands ready, watching his fellow teammate being thrown like he was a rag doll. Cage steps in without hesitation, driving a powerful punch straight into Poison's face. His voice is firm, trying to break through whatever remains inside, insisting there's still a way back, that whatever's been done can be undone. A sharp, glinting spike forms from the creature's hand, his response calm and chilling. He doesn't argue, he doesn't hesitate, he simply rejects the idea outright. The spike drives into Cage's shoulder, piercing through Cog's unbreakable skin with a sudden, brutal motion. Cage's body tenses as pain hits instantly, his shout breaking through the room as the creature withdraws slightly, already in control of the fight. Cage staggers back, clutching his shoulder, confusion and anger mixing as he tries to process the injury. Behind him, Logan regains his footing, already assessing the situation with a grim understanding. This isn't something brute strength alone can stop. The creature turns his head slowly, attention shifting away from the others and locking back onto Mary Jane. His voice lowers, more focused now, more personal. He hasn't forgotten why he came. She tells him to leave, but he responds, stating that he will not leave without her. Mary Jane meets his gaze, fear still present but now hardened into resolve. Her jaw tightens as she gives her answer, short, sharp, and final. Peter stands over Mary Jane, the black suit shifting subtly across his body, the white emblem stretching as he tilts his head. There's something almost curious in the way he repeats her word back to her, like he's testing it. Mary Jane doesn't back away this time. She faces him fully, refusing to give ground. As Mary Jane stands tall in front of her husband, with everything she's been holding in finally spills out. Her voice shakes at first, but steadies as she speaks. She doesn't want anyone else getting hurt trying to protect her. She's exhausted, tired of the fear, the chaos, the constant emotional strain, and more than anything, she can't stand seeing him like this, knowing the man she loved is trapped beneath what he's become. She lifts her chin, forcing strength into her voice. If this is what Peter wants, what Poison wants, then he can go ahead. Do whatever he came here to do. Turn her into something like him. Her words are controlled, but there's defiance behind them. Her expression hardens, anger breaking through the fear. She tells him plainly, whatever he's done, whatever's been done to Peter, she won't forgive it. Not now, not ever. Peter, Poison, remains still, watching her in silence. His face gives nothing away. But Mary Jane doesn't look away either. Her voice drops, sharp and unwavering. If he takes her, if he changes her, she'll make every second of it a living hell. Mary Jane stands firm, facing Peter as the black suit shifts across him. Her body is tense, fists clenched at her sides, refusing to back down, even as he looms in front of her. There's no fear in her stance now, only defiance. In an instant, Peter is gone. The space where he stood is empty, the air still disturbed from his sudden disappearance, leaving behind only the aftermath of his presence. Mary Jane remains standing, her posture still rigid, as if expecting him to return at any second. The adrenaline hasn't left her yet. She's frozen in that moment of confrontation. Then it hits her. Her strength breaks, and she drops inward, covering her face with her hands. The weight of everything, fear, anger, grief, crashes down all at once now that he's gone. Outside, under a storm-heavy sky, the gates of Forest Hills Cemetery stand silent and imposing. High above, shadowy forms perch along the structure, watching. The presence is still there. Peter hasn't disappeared. He simply moved on, drawn somewhere else with purpose. A gravestone sits in silence beneath the dim light, the name carved into it clear and unchanging, Gwen Stacy. The words beneath mark her as a loving daughter, a life remembered in stillness. The moment lingers heavy with meaning, as if everything is being drawn back to this place. The ground below is disturbed, the earth cracked and uneven, as if something has already begun to shift beneath the surface. The quiet of the cemetery feels fragile now, as though it's on the verge of being broken. Clinging to the stone structure nearby, Peter, now fully overtaken by poison, hangs in the shadows, his body twisted along the surface like something that no longer belongs among the living. Tendrils curl from him as he looks down, drawn toward what lies beneath the grave, his purpose now clear. From the disturbed earth, something begins to emerge, dark, clawed, and unnatural, reaching upward as if answering his call. The motion is slow but inevitable, as the final thought settles over the moment. There are two paths, and Peter has chosen the other. And in this universe, Peter Parker didn't save the one he loved, he chose to recreate her. Not out of heroism, but out of something far darker. Because sometimes the worst version of a hero still believes he's doing the right thing. But this isn't the only universe where Spider-Man breaks. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more content.